Esmaeil Baghaei, the US Defense Secretary, has just said that they are winning this war and they'll keep winning. Are you now engaged in a military conflict you simply can't win?
We are defending ourselves. We are defending against this unprovoked, unwarranted act of aggression. So we have no other choice other than exercising our inherent right to self-defense. What they are doing is a criminal act of aggression, and I think it's very clear for everyone that they started this war in the middle of a negotiation process, in the middle of a diplomatic process on 28 February, and for the past 20 days, they have killed so many Iranians, they have attacked our civilian infrastructure, they have attacked residential areas, and now they are claiming that they are winning.
Yeah, but you're not just defending yourselves, though, are you? You're also attacking Qatar, one of your neighbours. Why attack them if your quarrel is with the US?
We are not attacking any country. We are exercising our right to self-defense.
You're attacking a gas facility in Qatar.
The reality is that the United States and Israel are abusing the soil, territories, and assets scattered around us.
Okay, but you're not merely attacking US assets, you're also attacking a gas field in Qatar and other Gulf neighbours. I just wonder why.
I was explaining. Tell me, who has started this war in the first place? And who has started attacking our gas field, South Pars field? It was Israel and Americans that attacked our gas field, our energy infrastructure in the first place. What we are doing is fighting back in accordance with our right of self-defense. As I said, we are not attacking any country, we are defending ourselves. Those military bases, those assets, those installations that are being used by Americans to conduct their military aggressions against Iran are legitimate targets under international law.
But a gas field is not a military asset, is it?
I'm telling you, yes, the gas field is shared by... We have made it clear that if Iran's infrastructure is attacked, we would have to retaliate in self-defense against any infrastructure that is shared by the United States. That's part of the war game they have imposed on Iran.
Right, we'll come back to why the US says they launched this war in the first place. But I wonder what you say to your former allies in the Gulf who are calling for you to stop the strikes on civilian infrastructure, stop the strikes on ships going through the Strait of Hormuz. Will you listen to them? Oman, Qatar, these are countries that you've cooperated with in the recent past.
Sure. We do not feel any animosity or hostility toward the nations of the region. We common a lot with these countries. This is the result of American-Israeli aggression against Iran. Please do not forget that the military bases of the United States that are scattered around Iran are being used by the United Israel to conduct their military aggression against Iran.
But you say, sorry, I must just pick up on...
an imposed war.
I must just pick up on it, though. You say you've got no animosity to your Gulf neighbours. You're attacking Qatar's gas field. Abu Dhabi and Kuwait are under attack too, just in the last few hours. That is not a defensive act, is it? That's Iran lashing out.
No, it is not. As I said, we are only targeting those assets, those installations that partly or wholly belongs to the United States. They are attacking our infrastructure, and Iranian armed forces are very careful to attack those military bases, those assets that are used by the United States in any form or manner to conduct their military aggression against Iran.
A gas field is not a military asset, but we'll move on because we have lots of other issues to discuss. Let's talk about your own self-interest.
Was Iranian field a military objective? No,
I'm just taking issue with your description of Qatar's gas field as a military asset. But let's move on because we've got so much else to talk about. Let's talk about your own self-interest and how you're harming the Iranian economy with the paralysis of the Strait of Hormuz. Yes, it's damaging the global economy, but Iran's economy too. You depend on that. I wonder how soon you hope to get that strait opened again.
You see, again, please. We didn't start this war. We do not want to harm the security and stability of the region. As you said, the security of Iran is dependent on the security of the region and of the Strait of Hormuz. This is the result of American-Israeli aggression against Iran. What else should we do? Do you expect Iran to let the warring parties, the aggressors' ships and vessels, to pass the Strait of Hormuz? Literally speaking, the Strait of Hormuz is not shut down. We have to exercise control over the shipping line because this strait is being abused by the United States and its allies to harm Iran's national interests. As you know, there have been many vessels passing through the Strait of Hormuz.
There's a trickle of vessels passing through. So how soon would you like to see it properly reopened, and has it been mined?
As I said, we have to take these measures in order to make sure that this strait is not abused by the United States and its aggression partners against Iran.
Do those measures include mining the strait?
I'm not going to talk about military tactics of the Iranian armed forces. It is Iran's right under this war situation to take every measure necessary in order to counter the aggressors and in order to prevent them from using this strait for conducting their military aggression against Iran.
The paralysis of the Strait of Hormuz has wrought havoc around the world in terms of the economy and the supply of oil. The UK is reportedly considering deploying autonomous mine-hunting drones to the region. The UK stayed out of the war so far, but if that were to happen in the Strait of Hormuz, would you consider UK assets legitimate targets?
Can you imagine that any country taking side actively with the aggressors and would be regarded as neutral? No. Any country, the international responsibility of states under international law requires that they try to avoid escalation, not to contribute to this aggression.
Well, the UK has stayed back in this war.
I think that's what any responsible nation must do, because UK and other Europeans know very well that this is an illegal war imposed on Iranians. It has no justification under international law. It is, strictly speaking, it is an act of aggression that is prohibited under the United Nations Charter.
Well,
so every
you'll
nation
know that
claims
America
rule of law, they have to hold the United States and Israel accountable for this act of aggression against Iran.
But you'll know that America says that you were just weeks away from developing a nuclear weapon. You possess 440 kilograms of highly enriched uranium. That was the basis for the war here. Iran was a threat.
No, it's not. First, they said that there was an imminent threat from Iran. But themselves, the Pentagon, said there was no imminent threat from Iran. And please remember that in June, they themselves claimed that Iran's nuclear program was obliterated. And you know that Iran's nuclear program is absolutely peaceful. It has been certified many times by IAEA that Iran's nuclear program was safeguarded and was completely peaceful. So it is a big lie.
America doesn't believe that, and they've stated their evidence of the fact that Iran was weeks away from developing a nuclear weapon. But let me just talk about what America has said since this last war broke out. The ballistic missile capacity has been functionally destroyed, they say. Likewise, your Navy, they've got aerial dominance, your drone manufacturing capacity has been decimated. How long can Iran keep fighting back?
We are defending our territorial integrity, our sovereignty, and our dignity against the aggressors.
How long can you carry on doing that?
They want to say, as long as it takes, because this is a matter of patriotism. Iranians are defending against an unjust war. Again, you referred to nuclear weapon. Let me respond. That's a big lie. You have to refer to the IAEA. If you agree that the International Atomic Energy Agency is the UN-recognized watchdog, show me just one single piece of evidence that Iran's nuclear program is deviating from peaceful purposes.
Yeah,
So what they are
440
claiming
kilograms
is
of
simply a
highly
big lie.
enriched uranium. That's not a lie, is it?
That's exactly what we were talking, ma'am. We were talking to take care of that and some other issues. I refer you to the mediator, Minister of Oman, Foreign Minister of Oman, who said there was significant progress in the negotiations. What happened? Just one day after the negotiations, and while we were supposed to meet in Vienna for technical discussions, they attacked Iran. And this was the second time in a matter of 9 months that they betrayed diplomacy. Please do not forget that we were negotiating, and
Right.
everyone agreed that the negotiating was going well.
So are you open to talks with the US now?
How come? We were negotiating. We were negotiating when they decided to attack Iran for no reason. So do you think any nation which is right now under attack, whose leaders have been assassinated by terrorist actions, what do you expect from Iran to do?
Yeah, but
We are
are you
defending
open?
ourselves.
But clearly this war has to come to an end somehow. Are you open to talks to bring it to an end?
Talk to whom? Talk to
To-
those who do not believe in diplomacy? They have proven to everyone.
But what
on,
is the
talks
end
for
game
what
here?
purpose?
What is the end game? How does Iran end this war?
As I said, we didn't start this war, okay? We are defending ourselves. Look at what they are saying to their public, to the whole international community. They insist that they are going to continue their death and destruction on Iranian. They are saying proudly they do not believe in any rule of law.
Right.
They are saying that no mercy, no quarter, and this is war crimes. So do we have any other choice other than defending our territorial integrity and sovereignty against this barbaric act of aggression?
So you're content and you have the capacity to turn this into a forever war with America?
It is not Iran that has been fighting forever wars. This is the United States and Israel that have turned our region into a scene of everlasting wars. Look at what has been happening for the past 3 years. There has been a genocide in Gaza, attacks against Lebanon, against 7 countries. So Iran has been in the region for millennia. We do not welcome war. We didn't start this war. But we have to fight ferociously because this is an unjust war imposed against Iran.
Right, but you say you don't welcome this war, so how does this war end? Is it, for example, if you renounce your right to enrich uranium, is that a price worth paying to bring peace to the region and peace to your people?
As I said, it was not a matter of enrichment. It was not a matter of nuclear issue. We were talking together. Basically, they said that they obliterated Iran's nuclear program in June. So it means they have trying to find every excuse to further this whimsical war. They themselves do not know what is the purpose of this war other than being dragged by Israel into this war.
But I've asked you several times now how you envisage bringing an end to this war, helping to bring about peace, and you haven't been able to answer that question. So I can only conclude that you're really saying to America, this is a forever war if you decide it will be.
No, ma'am, you are simply misrepresenting what I'm saying. I'm telling you that while Iran is under constant attack, while Tehran is being bombed by the United States and Israel, we have to focus on defending our people against this barbaric act of aggression.
Right.
So you have to direct this question to those who started this war, not to a nation that is the victim of aggression.
Well, and many of your people are also the victims of Iranian aggression, but we'll come back to that in a second. There's been no sign of Mojtaba Khamenei, the Supreme Leader, the new Supreme Leader. Has he left the country? Is he in Moscow receiving medical treatment, as has been reported?
I'm so sorry that you are trapped by this propaganda. Iranians, ma'am, Iranian leaders are proud enough to stay in their home and fight. Look what happened to our Supreme Leader. He was assassinated when he was in his office. And I don't know what is the source of this propaganda, this psychological warfare that you are raising it as question.
So will you
baseless.
state as fact that the new Supreme Leader is alive and well and in Iran?
Of course.
You've seen him? You've spoken to him?
I'm not supposed to see him.
But no one has seen him, so it's rather hard to believe what you're saying.
Okay, you can have your own judgment, but I said what I need to say.
So you're convinced that the new Supreme Leader is alive and well and in your country?
Sure.
Who's actually running the government of Iran? Because a lot of the leaders have been taken out by America.
What we have been witnessing has been a terrorist act, war crime, and I think the world has to really stop being indifferent toward these massive acts of war crime and crimes against humanity.
Well, there have been crimes against humanity committed by Iran too, haven't there? Not least against its own people.
Come on.
Tens of thousands of people.
You ask a question, again, it's a big lie, and I'm sorry that even the mainstream media is being duped by those who have propagated these lies. I was telling you that Iranian system is the outcome, is the result of a popular revolution, is a well-established system. It is not a one-rule ban that you can kill a number of people and you expect that the system collapse. This is based on the will of the people, ma'am.
But it's not a lie, is it, that thousands of your own people have been killed by your own military? And I wonder, Israel is asking the Iranian people to rise up and take control of their country. What are the consequences if they do that?
As I said, what happened in January was the result of the United States and Israel infiltrating in peaceful protesters, gunmen shooting down police forces and peaceful protesters. 3,000 innocent persons, 3,170 persons were killed. 2,400 of them were regarded as martyrs because they were either police officers or the protesters. So, and I think it's very clear to everyone that it was part of the United States and Israel plan to make Iran insecure.
It wasn't Israel and America, though, was it, killing the thousands of people who were protesting, who were calling for freedom? That wasn't Israel and America killing them.
It was peaceful protests turned violent by their interventionist propaganda. When the United States president called for more killing, he said, if there are more killings, he would intervene, ma'am. And that was a message given to those infiltrators more. So everyone knows it was part of their scheme to make Iran insecure. And I'm telling you, I wonder why don't you ask any question about 175 innocent kids that were killed in the first hours of United States-Israel attack against the city of Mina.
Well, so you know what? We've asked America and we will continue to ask about that. That's not a question for you. But just finally, I want to give you one more chance because people are suffering in your own country and across the world, and particularly in the region. How does Iran help to bring peace to the region? What concession might you offer to bring peace?
Again, I'm really surprised that you are directing this question to the representative of a country that is under attack. We didn't start this war. You have to
under attack and also attacking.
No, we are not attacking. We are defending ourselves. We are defending ourselves against this barbaric act of aggression by two nuclear-armed regimes. Remember, they are both nuclear-armed. They are attacking another country with the excuse that is even unclear for themselves. First, they said imminent threat. Then they said we had to intervene because Israel was going to attack Iran and we had to preempt. So you have to direct this question to those who are the cause of this calamity for the whole region and for the international community.